Well, shows come and go, and the Ali Pali is what you could call a hardy annual. This is a show which is really more focused towards the performance end of the market. And talking about performance, I have a young lady with me, I'm sure you recognise, Diane, and she's been performing lately in pantomimes.
That's right, I'm a bit of a performer, am I?
Well, in the nicest possible way, you understand. So what have you been doing in panto?
Actually, I was in panto in Kent, in Tunbridge Wells, and I was playing Tiger Lily in Peter Pan with the incredible Brian Blessed. I mean, he's an explorer, and the stage held no bounds for him, and he was just you just never knew what to expect, which was excellent.
Any motorbikes involved in this?
Sadly not. Actually, I don't know about many of you guys out there, but it's the time of year I'm just bursting for just more nice weather. I was saying this morning on the way here, it's too great. It's great all the time, and it's just getting cold and sleety and wet and slimy, and it's just a bit of a risk. Well,
I was going to ask you about this because you got your new CBR 600, haven't you, that you're looking forward to riding?
I am. I mean, I've got it in a lockup out in the country, and so I go every weekend or so, and I go and I just plethora around on it for a while. But I'm so looking forward to having it with me where I'm living and just having a ball. I'm just getting so excited. I'm driving and there's all these riders going by because I've got to drive with all my clothes and my portable office half the time, so it's really boring.
Look, this Harley fixation you had, it did bother me at one time. Has that gone now? Or do you...
Get out of it! Get out of it! No, I mean, I think, like music, it depends what mood I'm in regarding bikes. And if I just need to let off some steam and I need to have some adrenaline and go up from my gears really quickly, then it's the CBR 600 for me. I'm so pleased with it, I have to say. I'm not incredibly well experienced. I only passed my test, 6-8 months ago. I'm a novice rider, a young lady, and it's just a whole new world opening up. And I think that's quite a nice perspective for me to be able to do this job from as well, because most people are so well read and so into it that they forget what it's like for some new people coming in.
So we won't have any sexist comments about the sort of the female side of it or the lady side of it. We'll just call it the novice side of it. Is that right? That's fair enough?
That's very PC, but you remember the job I did before, okay? And I'll be around with some pretty heavy muscle if anybody decides to want to get the better of me in any way. That's me being really butch, isn't it? No, I think it's an important thing to remember sometimes. We're trying to make biking obviously more accessible to many people, particularly with road congestion, the state we're getting the whole environment and all that palaver into. So we've got to always be aware that new people do want to bike, and it can be a bit intimidating sometimes.
True, and you look very coy there, and it's just the sort of thing to encourage people onto bikes. Anyway, we better crack on and do a little bit, haven't we?
We had. We're at Ali Pali today. I mean, and it's it's the home of British broadcasting. In fact, it's international. It's the first place that broadcasting was ever launched from. And I'm just waiting for you to go, okay, Diane, and today we're at the motorcycle show.
Okay, I shall do that then, shall I? Okay, Diane, here we are.
Kneecap you if you do that.
All right,
Where are we off to next?
I don't know. Let's go our different ways, and I'll catch up with you later. How's that?
Sounds good.
There are silencers of all sorts, some with baffles and some without. This is a race can without, as I'm sure you can see. And this is a Renegade one. I wouldn't advise you to hold it up to your eyes that often, but I have with me John Campbell, who is the manufacturer of Renegade exhaust systems and silencers. John, very nice bit of work, this one. How do you find demand for the race cans? Do people actually come in knowing that they're illegal and say, but I want one of them, they make lovely sound?
There is a very great demand, unfortunately. We are meeting a demand, and unfortunately that's what we're doing, just meeting a demand.
Because to clarify, it is illegal to actually sell an exhaust system knowingly for the road when they are for the track, isn't it? That is the present position.
It is illegal to put a race can on a motorcycle. Yeah, it is not illegal to sell it, it's not illegal to buy it. Right. It is illegal to use it on the road car.
I know, it does get complicated, doesn't it? Now, I know that you do road systems as well. You haven't got any here because this is a racing and sporting show, but must have cost you a lot of money to get them through standards approval?
Oh, it certainly did, because we have to comply to the British standards, not only just the British standards, the EEC standards, and it's got to be on a flat ground, completely concrete, no grass around, no buildings. We have to have the machine coming in at a certain angle at something like 20 feet away with a decibel meter. All this costs time and money, and actually get them right and manufacture at the end of the day, but the demand isn't there.
And tell me, when you're doing this testing, this is for each and every bike. It's not just the silencer, is it? So you'd have to, if you're making one for a Pan Euro or whatever it is, perhaps that's the wrong bike to think of, but anyway, if you had one for them, it's got to be that, and then a Fireblade, another test.
Right, exactly. Each individual model has got to be tested individually, and it's not cheap. It does cost a few bob.
Earlier on, I was caught looking at one of these. I'm not going to justify myself, but I thought it might be interesting actually to sort of elaborate on this point. And with me I have...
John.
Who is?
I'm the boss of a company called Crossbow Calendars.
And you were like the originator of sort of girls and bikes and very dramatic calendars, weren't you?
Yeah, that's correct. We started in, we've been going for a long time, 25 years in the market with a motorcycle shop. And we built a rather special bike in conjunction with a company called Harris in '86. And we wanted a way of publicising this and taking motorcycling outside of the motorcycling into the media.
Grab a girl?
Samantha Fox.
I know Samantha Fox, I have to admit to that. She's a lovely lady, and it's obviously been very successful, but you must come into a lot of controversy. You must get some women getting very uptight about it, do you?
We get the occasional lady who attacks the counter and rips a calendar up. We've had that. We've had that happen. But
girls, don't be so insecure. It's a bit of fun, okay?
Generally speaking, most ladies see it for what it is. It's a bit of fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously. We combine the best page-free girls and the best bikes.
I have to say, I have a fiancé who goes, "Oh, they get in the way of the bikes, look at them." And I have to say, not everyone shares that view. And, you know, from a lady's perspective, I think these girls look fantastic. It's just not for me, not something I would do. And I think if a woman's okay with that, then fine. Is it ever going to be like guys on bikes?
Well, we've done that. We have done that. You see, this is it. This is the
show me.
We haven't got any sold out.
Oh, sorry, okay, fine.
We have done that. We did a guy who's starring in a TV series called Bouncers. Seriously, coming out, I believe, on ITV at some time in the future. We did him on a Harley Davidson for the ladies, and we sold out back at the NEC in November last year. So there's possibly a new market there.
There is, I mean, titillation and clothes and lots of body. I mean, I was part of a show that involved very much that for 5 years, so I'm sort of one to talk. It is something that it's human nature, and we're never going to sort of get over, or we might as well just go with it and enjoy it. Have you got any favourites you want to show me?
I don't know, I suppose the original Sam Fox is still one of my favourite pictures.
There's a picture of Sam Fox back there, right? I mean, she was big girl, and she's got like this leather thing, these big boobs. She's not as big as she used to be, you know.
No, I know, she had an operation apparently going the opposite way to what a lot of the ladies want to go.
That's very true, that's very true, but also she's got herself very fit these days. She does work. What's he showing me now? We're looking at the bikes, honest.
I think that's my favourite from this year.
This is his favourite for this year, everybody. Why? Very quickly.
We found the bike in Germany. We shipped it over to the UK, which cost us a lot of money.
And that's a German model?
Fastest, no, English model, but the fastest road bike in Germany.
I was talking about the girl.
I know.
Nice to meet you. I'll make the way.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organisers of the Road Racing and Superbike show, I'd like to welcome officially on their behalf two very distinguished guests, Diane Nadell, who is Jet from Gladiators, and on a personal note, as a man who never has been afraid to let his personal political opinions be known to you lot, the man who will undoubtedly be the next Prime Minister, Mr. Tony Blair. I'm sorry, I didn't see Glenda Jackson there. Delighted to meet you as well. Thank you for coming. Well, just a couple of very quick questions, because I know you've got a lot to do and places to go. Are you a motorcyclist?
I'm not, but I've just been round and I actually got to stride one of the Triumph bikes, and it was, I wanted to drive it out of here. It was fantastic.
You could be persuaded.
I could be persuaded. The only difficulty, I keep bumping into people with crutches.
Good to have you with us, Mr. Blair. Nice to see a famous political face at a motorcycle event. Can I ask you, what is your interest in motorcycles?
Well, I've always had a secret hankering to own a motorbike. And also I've got a lot of friends who are really, really keen on it. And I've become quite interested in the idea that it's actually beneficial for the environment to use a motorbike, and particularly in the cities. Yeah. And so, you know, I think it's quite important. And it's amazing once you start to talk to people about bikes, how many people are interested in it, and how many people either want to own one or do own one.
Yeah, so you see motorcycles, do you, as being a sort of a real contributory factor to relieving congestion? You see they can play a part?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And I think there's some quite interesting experiments and work going on at the moment as to how you can use motorcycles and give them better access in the towns and cities.
Bus lanes,
yeah,
and
all that sort of thing. And I think it's well worth looking at.
Yeah. So you are looking at this, are you, for your future government? I shall presume that, shall I?
Yes, you can. I mean, we are, and we just issued a little statement today on some of the things we can do to help motorcyclists. And I mean, they're not huge things that we're able to do straight away, but they're things that will ease some of the problems they have and help people.
And you'll have an eye over the water to Europe, mainland Europe, as it were, with everything coming out of there. I won't get on the European question, but I mean, there's a lot coming from Europe.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's very, very important, and there have been a lot of regulations coming through Europe, and that's why it's important that we have a strong voice there, that we're able to make our views known and make our views count, actually.
Well, and that Tony Blair fella, quite a character. I was very impressed. What about you? I mean, you got glamour on your side, and I noticed you got on well with him. What did he have to say to you?
Well, it was just interesting sort of being led up to him, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, and there's a face that I know," to me. And I'm going, great, because I'm aware that he's actually a great fan of Gladiators, and his kids all watch the show. And now I'm shaking a sweaty, nervous hand with this guy who could be our next Prime Minister. Fascinating. I like when I meet people.
I think you were impressed by this man.
Yeah, I'm impressed more by an atmosphere a person gives off. I think we've got an intuitive level which can often tell you whether somebody is a bit of a whatever. And so I got very nice vibes, and Glenda as well. And we were introduced on stage, but what was fascinating was the little conversation that took place between sort of walking away from being introduced to walking on stage and to sitting on the Triumph for the photo call. And it was sort of heartfelt, what's going on, what they want to do for biking. And I said, well, with congestion, more people have to get onto two wheels, and the pair of them just went ba-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. And it was great. And I was like, great, I wish people could hear this. So
some good vibes there then, you reckon?
Very good. I mean, we've got to take into consideration here, they're going for a vote and they want women and female bikers. So I was sort of the plum representative, I think, of that. As far as the press call goes, that's me being very sceptical. But that's the way the industry works. I tell you what was really good, sort of the Gladiator hat came out when I was sat on the Triumph and all the photographers were going, no, Tony, sit on the bike, Tony, sit on the bike. And you could see he was really reluctant to. And I went, I think he's okay where he is, actually. And then his PR guy came on from the side going, Tony, on the bike, Tony. And he went, okay, I'll go on the bike then. And took his shirt. So I held his blazer as he got on the bike, and I'm going, now who wears the trousers? And this PR guy obviously was sort of calling the shots, but fascinating. And I said, I'm so thankful that you came here today and gave motorcycling its much needed profile in this sense.
One of the most popular types of bike these days are the new retro style bikes. One of them's likely to cost you around £5 grand. Having spent that, you'd then be faced with an insurance premium that could cost you 300 or 400 quid. A lot of money. And if you've not got that kind of money, what do you do? No problem. You can buy the real thing. And this is one of the real things. It's got as much street cred as you could possibly want. It's a Yamaha XS 650 Special. An XS 650 can be yours for less than £1,000, although do expect to pay a little bit more for a real mint condition one. This one, well, it's fairly standard. There's not too much difference from when it was new. The exhaust system is new. It would originally have had two single pipes with a silencer either side. It's now got this Motad system fitted, which is a 2-into-1. The seat's been very well recovered, and it's had a good ridge hose put on the front, which gives it a little bit better braking. One of these, the key to this, is one of these, being over 15 years old now, this is 18-year-old, this particular machine, can be put on the road legally, insured, for around 100 quid. After 18 years, you'd expect to see some rust and bits and pieces wrong with it. Cosmetically, this one's starting to go. The front chrome mudguard is going, the back fender's going as well, but that can all be replaced. We're not too worried about that. It's got a very good, very solid frame, but much more importantly, it's got a cracking engine. Built-in 650cc parallel twin engine, single overhead cam. Very basic, no frills, a joy to work on. Two sets of points in the other side if you like tinkering. And while you've got your feeler gauges out, you can remove these little covers and adjust the tappets. Great fun. And it's not uncommon to see these engines in big choppers and these sort of custom type bikes because they've got such a great reputation. These are an absolute joy to drive. Superb machine. Once you get used to the high sort of handlebar position, they really are extremely comfortable. Your feet aren't tucked up behind your backside anywhere. It's just like you're sat in a chair. Great fun. Although it does get a little bit hard work, anything over 70, because you've got the wind on your chest there. They do get a little bit rattly at the top end, these, if you don't keep the cam chain properly adjusted, but deep down they've got loads of torque. And in fact, it's not uncommon to see one of these sitting in a chopper because of the fantastic reputation that these engines have got.
I'm just measuring one of these body protectors up. These are body protections. This is not a shin pad, this is an elbow piece. And at the bike show at the NEC, I happened to mention that there's a new product out by a company called Knox, appropriately named due to the fact that that's the idea. It's to, when you have a knock, to soften the blow. Such as these have been out for years. These soft ones, hard ones, very, very flexible ones, I mean, as such. See approved ones by different people. And the idea is they slot inside your jacket, at the elbow, at the shoulders.
Wayne.
Oh, what on earth do you want? I'm trying to do a job here.
I'm sorry to disturb you, mate, but you see this jacket that's I've just found on your shelf?
Oh, help yourself, why don't?
Well, I have a route round while I'm here, you know. Exactly the same as what I bought from you.
I remember.
It's got nothing in it.
It's the only time I ever got any money off
It's got no protection at all. It's not, you know.
Educate yourself.
Sort it out.
I'm sure we explained. Give it here.
I want to be kitted up.
You can be.
Right.
This particular jacket, as many are nowadays, leather, material, waterproof ones, whatever, have got the facility to take body armour. In this case, a back protector. That slides in that pocket. And if you look a little further at the product of which you bought and paid your hard-earned cash for, there's one there as well, and that goes in, a body protection piece goes in the shoulder, and the same in the elbow. So you can actually kit yourself out, Paul. It's a small amount of money.
So it all looks very tricky, all this stuff.
Well, it's
look
good
at this.
stuff, mate.
There's anybody watching from Dublin, if you come here, we'll stamp your passport.
Here, just shoot off with you while I do this little job. Right, now Paul's upset me and messed me all up. Back protectors. That one goes in the back of the jacket that Paul had. Better than that, you can buy full back protectors. So if you're not fancying the idea of elbows and shoulders and so on, just buy a back protector. Goes onto you with a body strap or over the shoulder straps. I'll show you a few that we've got here. Back protectors are made by just about everybody nowadays. All major manufacturers who produce clothing produce back protectors. This particular company, Axo, produced boots, and they've gone into this field as well. They've incorporated carbon fibre, which is the clever stuff. They're using crash helmets and the likes. Bit of plastic to surround it. Nice and soft body foam there. Stick that on your back, you'll feel comfortable, you'll feel protected as well. You really will give yourself a sense of security, and hopefully you'll never test it. Should you feel that that's not enough and that only goes around your kidney area, then they do a full one that the racers would use. Same again with the carbon and the plastic, and this has shoulder straps that will go over the top, your body belt around there, and that's going to protect your full back, as you can see. Perfect. That's 90 quid. The short one's about 40 quid. They do a cheaper version of that without the carbon fibre, and then of course there's different makes. It's a full length one just like the previous one, £45, and that just keeps the cost down a little bit. And that's soft high density foam with this ABS flexible plastic to stop anything piercing into it.
Well, you've heard of motorcycle news. It's nearly got as much clout as Two Wheels Better. But what I've got with me, or who I've got with me, is Adam Duckworth, who's the new editor of Motorcycle News. Congratulations on the new job, Adam.
Thank you very much. It's a big job, and I look forward to it.
I bet you are. Has it been a lifelong ambition of yours? I mean, Motorcycle News, how long has it been around now?
Last year we celebrated our 40th birthday, and I remember actually the first issue, we've got it on the wall, it was Jeff Duke Suspended, and since then it was a little 8-page newspaper, and we've come an awful long way. You know.
So Jeff Duke, when was that? Mid-50s?
Yeah, 1955. November.
You were only a little lad.
Yeah. I wasn't even a twinkling in my mother's eye or father's eye at that time.
Tell me, we've got a terrific season coming up, if you want to call it a bike season. Terrific bikes around. What's your personal favourite in the way the bikes are going?
The bikes themselves?
Yeah.
Well,
you got to be careful, have you?
No. Being editor and also working at MCM means you get to ride just about everything that comes out. And there's so many great bikes in different categories. You know, everyone seems to think sports bikes, they're the business, and they're excellent. Equally, there's great touring bikes and trail bikes and all sorts. But I mean, I think my favourite is no coincidence. It was the machine of the year last year. It's the Ducati 916. Yeah. It's a wonderful bike. But now there's a new Triumph T595 coming out, which is tremendously exciting, and it's got to be a huge lift for Britain and for biking. And well, I can't wait to have a go on one of those.
And then serious challenges from Suzuki and Honda. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? V-twin competitors.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ducati have redefined sports bikes. People want more nowadays than a straight high-revving four-cylinder Japanese bike. Ducati have done it with a 916, and now Honda and Suzuki have proved they can do something similar. And our road testers have ridden both those bikes and are absolutely raving about them. They're really, really good bikes. It's very exciting.
Moving on to other things, race events coming up. I suppose you have to mention the British Superbike anyway, as you're sponsoring the thing, but it looks some fascinating racing.
Oh, I think for the first time for a long time, all the championships, international as well as national, look really, really exciting. There's big developments in all of them. Carl Fogarty in World Superbikes, and hopefully Mick Doohan's not going to have it all his own way in 500s this year. You've got Troy Corser in there. But I think, obviously, you said it, the thing that's happening, the big news, is the British Superbike Championship, which of course we sponsor. And there's more factory bikes in there now than I think there was in World Superbikes just even a couple of years ago. It really shows that the factories are taking it seriously. The racing's excellent, really, really close. It's the business, and we're going to reflect that next year with more coverage of the MCN Championships as well as World Superbikes.
Because we've got scooters in there as well. That's going to be something new, isn't it? I'm looking forward to seeing that. You know, the Piaggio round. That's going to be good, isn't it? Tell me one last thing, and perhaps a dull thing, but the threats to motorcycling. I mean, you've always been a campaigning newspaper, but I mean, there's still lots of nasty things lurking around in the cupboard. What do you see coming up this year? Is it going to be the same old thing? Is it noise and anti-tampering and all the rest of it?
Well, obviously, we linked very closely with BMF and MAG, and also with the people in power, and it's important, I feel, that we campaign for bikers' rights. If anything is coming up in the future to threaten bikers, we're going to be there fighting for rights. Equally, last year we had a very successful campaign, the Think Bike campaign, and also the Right to Ride. One was to defend your rights, our bikers' rights to go wherever they wanted, and one was to try and educate car drivers to look out for bikes, and it was a huge success. And we're obviously monitoring everything all the time, and any threats that's going to possibly threaten the future of biking, we're going to be there and we're going to stand bikers' corners and fight for our rights.
More from the Ali Pally Show next week here on Granada Men and Motors, 2 Wheels Better.